Thanks to the support as a channel member, Michael McCloskey. Sorry to disappoint you folks, but it is not Tired Kev anymore. This is the first video of the series I've recorded since the long night, as I will forever refer to it, when I recorded the first 5 parts before heading to Comic-Con. I am back. I have picked a winner for the giveaway from episode 1 as well, so you don't need to be asking for a copy, and that's all that's happening on my phone. Can I have a copy of FM? I know I told you to do it. You can stop now. Chris has won it. I've replied to his message. That's all that needs being done. I think we're in double figures for copies of FM22 given away already, and there will be more to come with some of the standalone videos and Non-Lethal Legend when that starts. So keep an eye on all of that. But just wanted to say before getting into the video, thank you for the incredible support on this series so far. It's the most watched in the first few days FM beta video I've ever released. I think it's probably pretty closely tied with Barcelona for views over the opening few days of a new series. Some incredible numbers again. Thank you for the support. Hope you're continuing to enjoy it. And don't worry, I won't be falling asleep during the videos anymore. So business as usual picks up from here. And welcome to part 6 of Rebuilding Arsenal. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have Premier League games for you at home against Norwich and away against Tottenham. Since you were last with me, we've been doing okay. One thing to mention, past Kev, Sleepy Kev, didn't save the game after the last episode. We drew 1-1 with Manchester United in the last episode. He'd saved everything up until then. I think I had weekly saves turned on. In fact, that reminds me, Kev, turn weekly saves back on, because at the moment you've got it set up to save every 5 years and have a new file each time, because you were holidaying 100 years in the future while you were away. There you go, fixing that in real time. I bet I've got 10,000 save files for this. Actually, no, I won't have any save files. 5 years. Brilliant. Anyway, I didn't save after I turned the game off to start the holidaying forward before I went away, so I had to replay that one about 5 times to get a draw again. I think it was 2 wins to United, 3 wins to us, and eventually we managed to get a 2-2 draw just to regain order in the world. And then we kind of got into the habit of drawing from there. 3 of our 5 games in February were draws, including against Birmingham in the FA Cup. And our long unbeaten run has finally come to an end in my most recent match, where we went to Aston Villa and lost 4-1. So the Premier League table looks like this. 30 games played. We are still in a Champions League qualification spot. We are no longer in a Premier League title race. This probably is more accurately reflecting where we should be this season. We've got a game in hand on the team above us and the team below us. So fingers crossed Leeds don't catch us and rob us of our Champions League qualification spot at the death with 8 games to go. A lot of that is going to come down to how these 2 matches today go. But we are also still in the FA Cup. We've got a semi-final against Chelsea, which I will almost certainly be showing you in tomorrow's episode, especially because we've got a big game against Manchester City directly after it as well. So we are still in with a possibility of a Champions League qualification and FA Cup win this year, which would be a fantastic first season back on the Arsenal rebuild. We didn't do any more transfers at the end of January either. So the squad remains as it was on the last episode. And this is the team that we're going to be putting out there to take on Norwich. So we're going with Ramsdale in goal, a back 4 of Tierney, Zagadou, Ginter and Tomiyasu, Lokonga and Kessie in midfield, and Aubameyang, Smith Rowe and Saka behind Martinez up front. Lautaro Martinez has actually been injured for a month or so, so Belotti's had a little bit of a run in the side and started to weigh in with a few goals. And Aubameyang has retired from international duty to try and maintain his spot in the squad. But Adam Hlozek is probably going to be displacing him at some point, because Aubameyang struggling a little bit with the high tempo game that we're still playing. He's needed a lot of rests, a lot of holidays. I don't think a 32-year-old Aubameyang can continue playing gegenpress with the intensity we've been playing it so far. He is kind of the only one suffering from it, though. So at the moment, I am enjoying the ongoing gegenpress experiment and pretty comfortable that with enough rest and enough rotation and the right squad and all that kind of stuff, you can definitely still do it. I think we've probably all figured that out for ourselves by now, but it really is I think, going to accelerate my typical process of binning off old men, and Aubameyang might be the first victim of that this summer. That is a beautiful goal from Saka. Lovely, lovely stuff from him. We always watch the replays anyway, but we deserve to have a good long look at this one from the other angle. So Tomiyasu playing it back to Lokonga. Saka picks it up just inside the area and curls it beautifully around the goalkeeper into the top far corner to put us 1-0 up after a minute or so in this game. Arsenal 1, Norwich 0. And this is exactly what we needed. And this is exactly the start we had in mind. Zagadou making it 2-0 inside 4 minutes. People asking me in the comments how I'm not doing Zagadou the song, because we don't like to be too obvious with the hilarity. We'll figure something out, but we can't sing that song every time he scores, because quite apart from anything else, near post corners, very, very overpowered again in FM this year. And Zagadou, being an enormous monster, he's going to score in pretty much every video. I mean, we've seen that in the last couple. Zagadou, major goal threat. But 2-0 up early on is exactly what we needed. 3-0 up early on is exactly what we needed to bounce back from, I think it was our first defeat in 14 league matches against Aston Villa. And we did get absolutely battered as well. It wasn't a case of, we weren't FM'd. It wasn't a close one that was nicked by the odd goal. We lost 4-1. They absolutely smashed us. And we do need to bounce back to make sure that we don't let that be the kind of result that turns the season and ends up with us falling out of the Champions League qualification spots, which after the season we've had would be disastrous. We definitely deserve to be in the top 4 this season. It kind of has been this top 4 all the way through. Leeds have had a recent push to try and get involved, but I mean, sorry Leeds, but you're not really welcome here. This top 4, this is fine. We'll go with this one. Thank you. 3-0 at half-time there. Norwich have barely had a kick. Certainly not had anything in the way of a threatening attack, only on a 0.14 XG on that first half. And fingers crossed we can continue to add to the scoreline and then take the foot off the pedal a little bit and rest some players ready for the Tottenham game that we've got coming up in the second half of the episode. We have won the penalty. We're starting the second half as brightly as we started the first. It's going to be Aubameyang from the penalty spot to make it 4-0. And he does. 4-0 to Arsenal. 14 goals this season from Aubameyang. He's definitely giving me the counter argument to all this talk of maybe moving him on this summer. Perhaps we just need to manage him. Maybe we just need to manage his minutes, manage his game time. He's done his bit. He's retired from international football. He's probably going to be a very useful player to have around the squad and for big matches, even if he's not going to be able to play week in, week out in such a high tempo system. But maybe we keep him. Although part of me does think a lot of it is going to come down to the kind of budgets that we're given this summer, especially if we're back in the Champions League. I'm going to need significant money to spend. And if I don't get it from the board, then maybe moving Aubameyang on while he's still got some value will be a way to go and get that significant spending money that we need to continue rebuilding this squad. That is a beautiful free kick goal from Emile Smith-Rowe, by the way. What a goal. Let's have a look at this one. We've had some screamers today. The Arsenal youngsters having a lovely old time. And it's now 5-0. Norwich they'll probably wish they stayed at home. We are going to take Aubameyang off for Hlozek. And probably going to take off the entire attacking midfield 3, actually. They're the ones who seem to tire more than anybody in this system. A lot of running gets done behind that striker. So we'll just take all 3 of them off. It's not bad to be able to bring on Pepe, Hlozek and Odegaard when you're already 5-0 up. Norwich may as well they just want to give up and go home at this point. What is the point in them continuing when we've got that kind of firepower, that kind of oomph to come out of our bench? And they thought they were going to grab a goal there, but Kieran Tierney protecting everybody's clean sheet bonus for today. And then we go up the other end. It's a free kick from Odegaard. Pepe's got it in the back of the net. I think it might be about to be disallowed. The referee is looking over at the linesman. I think he is. He's listening to his ear. VAR are involved. And it, of course, is disallowed because it's VAR in Football Manager. And although you do occasionally see them allowed now, it's still pretty rare. If they go to VAR, there's always a very good chance that whatever's just happened is getting overruled. Right, Odegaard to Tomiyasu. Now Lokonga from midfield. A rare start for him today. And he plays the ball forward to Hlozek, and his header's a poor one. It's straight into the hands of the Norwich goalkeeper. Pretty tame from us. And I think we probably are kind of taking our foot off the pedal a little bit. I've not told them to, but I think the boys can probably figure it out for themselves. What I might do is drop a little bit of praise, because we lost 4-1 in our last match, and we've responded perfectly by just taking Norwich apart. And I think credit where credit is due. The boys have done very well today, and they deserve a pat on the head and a little tickle on the tummy. And that's what we'll give them, both from the touchline and in the post-match team talk. We've got a matter of seconds remaining. If Norwich score here, it'll save the club money in bonuses. But other than that, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. Goal difference, we're absolutely fine. I think we're well ahead of Leeds, who are the only team who are a real threat. And the final whistle's about to go anyway. Can we have the final whistle, please? Anytime now. Why is this move still being allowed to continue? Come on. Final whistle is fine now. We're all ready for the Tottenham match. Cross comes in. There goes the clean sheet bonuses. The club's just saved tens of thousands of pounds with a 93rd minute consolation goal for Norwich. And, I mean, I said I didn't care. I still don't really. 5-1. It's fine. That's what happened. After I praised, all we did was concede a goal. Never praise these players again. Right. Not much rest. And now we're playing Tottenham. Little bit of rotation for the Tottenham game. Then Tavares comes in at left back for Tierney, who does need a rest, probably. Should have rested him for Norwich, like we did with Odegaard, who does come back into the midfield today. And we've actually been playing Odegaard deep alongside either Partey or Kessie recently, because Smith Rowe has been too good as the attacking midfielder. So Odegaard reinventing himself as a deep-lying playmaker despite his 8 tackling and me signing all the defensive midfielders. But Partey can come in with Kessie dropping down to the bench. We kind of rotate those two around as needed. Other than that, everyone else looking like they're fighting fit. We're keeping an eye on Aubameyang, but we took him off early in the last game, and I think we're benefiting from that, meaning that he can be on the pitch for Tottenham, which is handy. Right, let's tell the boys to pick up where we left off in the last game, because we were very good in the last game. Tottenham still with Harry Kane intact by the looks of it. Where are we? March, April time. They didn't sell him in either of the first 2 transfer windows. Be interesting to see if he sticks around. And there's that man again. 10th goal of the season for Zagadou. If you're not signing yourself a 6'5" centre-back in FM22, you are doing it wrong. There is no negotiation, no discussion. We knew these have been strong in the last couple of versions of FM. I think it probably does need addressing now, because it seems to be getting even more emphasised. You've seen it in the Streamer Showdown over the last couple of years, where it's generally been a case of whoever gets Virgil van Dijk and uses him right, big proviso on using him right, tends to go on and win the showdown because he's so overpowered in the air. I think Zagadou is looking like he's going to be another one of those, but I'm seeing it in other people's content as well. Near post corners to a big lad, they're difference makers. And we've got a very good corner taker, or a couple of very good corner takers, and someone who's an absolute threat in the air like Zagadou. And it combines beautifully to have us 1-0 up at halftime against Spurs. And now they're going to do the same back to us, aren't they? Corner coming in. And, oh my word, it's chaos in our 6-yard box. But after, I think, a good save from Ramsdale, I can't decide whether Ramsdale flapping at it and causing it, or whether he's actually got onto it nicely. Zagadou showing it he's dominant at both ends of the pitch as well, with the clearance now. And Harry Kane trying to get the cross in, but can't get it past Smith Rowe, who's back doing his share of the defending as well. Smith Rowe looking like he is the next one who's suffering from a bit of tiredness. So he's going to come off in a moment. We're not going to bring him off while we're in the middle of a highlight, though. We can just move Odegaard forward, and we've got both Lokonga and Kessie on the bench. I think Lokonga's probably the one who'll come on, because Kessie wasn't quite fully fit to be involved today. Martinez, that's a poor pass, and it's intercepted by Kane. But I'm not really sure what happened there. Something's happened. But I think this is probably an opportunity after this corner to take Smith Rowe off. There you go. Zagadou getting onto the end of it again, but it goes wide. And we will... What has gone on with the order of the players here? That's a mess. Right, we're going to move Odegaard forward. Smith Rowe is the man who's going to make way. And we'll just make Lokonga a ball-winning midfielder. Odegaard can continue to be our playmaker, but now a little bit further forward. We do need to keep an eye on Saka and Martinez as well. We've got Pepe and Belotti on the bench. We've developed strength in depth as the first step of the rebuild. That's something that Arsenal really suffered from at the start of the save. No strength in depth. I think we've addressed that. So our transfer job for this summer, as we continue rebuilding this club, is going to be starting to sprinkle in more and more superstars who are going to be difference makers. But Martinez is going to come off for Belotti, and Saka. I mean, they're the two we talked about before. And they're the two, or two of the several, with ready-made replacements sat down on the bench. This is likely to mean Aubameyang is now going to have to miss the next game entirely. And Belotti's gone off injured, which is not ideal. Right. We'll stick Aubameyang up front. We'll kind of shuffle them around into this kind of shape. Keep him as the playmaker out there. I hate being 10 men down. I always mess it up. We're going to drop down to a balanced mentality as well with 10 men down. Belotti getting injured will be a bit of a blow. We've not really had a period of time where Martinez and Belotti have both been fit. Belotti arrived. Martinez got fit immediately. Martinez is now fit and back in the team. And then Belotti picks up an injury. But I guess we don't need to worry too much about injuries to our two very good rotation strikers while we're beating Spurs away and getting back-to-back wins in an episode. Belotti's going to miss the next 2 or 3 weeks, which does keep him out for the FA Cup semi-final in tomorrow's episode. But who needs a striker when you've got Zagadou continuing to bang in the goals? That's where we end the episode. 6 games remaining, 5 games off the top, 4 games ahead of Leeds. That both of those teams have games in hand on us. So I think the most likely scenario is a 3rd or 4th place finish, which would be absolutely spot on to what we wanted from this season. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.